Doobie 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 doo. Empty roads. Welcome back. Currently coming towards the end of a very lovely bike ride with my new wheels, which has made it very nice. Well, more nice than it would normally be. Anyway, I'm back home now in the lovely West Country. Yeah, this week I'm gonna give a full recap of Hillary term and how I found my second full term in Oxford. I'll give you a recap of all the academic stuff, the rowing stuff, although you've heard quite a lot about that already, and also just generally how I found it. So if you like this video, please like it. If you feel like commenting, comment. You can ask any questions and I will try and get back to you. And finally, please subscribe to see more of me. So let's go, hope you enjoy. Let's start with a French recap for this, last term now. What were we studying? We were studying in literature, Papa Doit Manger by Marie Ndiaye, which is a relatively contemporary play written in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. It takes a very interesting view on racial discussions in France, as well as providing a very surreal, I would say, well, not very surreal, but just a very interesting, whoa, nearly got beheaded by a bramble, very interesting story as well, just generally quite not normal, let's put it that way. Not classical. We then looked at La Châtelaine de Vergy, which is a 14th century, I believe, narrative poem. It's essentially a story written in poem form, so it's pretty long. I actually really enjoyed this, even though the medieval French used is quite incomprehensible at times. But it was really good fun, and I enjoyed the essay I wrote on it. After that, we looked at Les Liaisons Dangereuses for Laclos, which I didn't enjoy as much. I think the problem is that it took me so long to read at home during the Christmas holidays that I just didn't find it too inspiring, unfortunately. And we finished with Indiana by Georges Sand, which is a very confusing novel, I think, but has a relatively nice story. It's about this young girl trapped in a marriage with an older man, and she's constantly trying to escape it. There's lots going on in that story, and initially I didn't think the essay, which I ended up writing in 8th week, because that's when it was due, initially I didn't think the essay title was particularly nice. It was to do with mirrors and mirror images, but when I did end up writing it, I actually really enjoyed it. So yeah, moving on to Spanish, we were looking at the ballads this term, which were very, very good fun. I really enjoyed them. We started by looking at the medieval ballads in the Romancero Viejo. So these are ballads relating to the time in which the last Visigothic king of Spain, Rodrigo, was sort of ousted by the Muslim invasion, all the way through to when the Muslims were sort of pushed back. So it covers a very wide period of time, and these ballads were to do with battles. They spoke about battles, they spoke about love stories, and lots of sort of classical ideas and things. There's a big tree trunk in the way, so here we go. They also had the role of just sometimes delivering news, and they were composed on a very sort of improvisational basis sometimes. We then moved on to the ballads of the Golden Age, looking at Francisco de Quevedo, Luis de Góngora and Lope de Vega. These were characterised by being a lot more sort of literary and a lot more flowery, lyrical, compared to the medieval ballads. They had less of a purpose and they were written for enjoyment. We then went on to the Romancero Nuevo, so the contemporary modern ballad, and we looked at examples from Federico García Lorca in the Romancero Gitano, as well as Antonio Machado's La Tierra de Álvar González. And these are the ones that I really enjoyed, and yeah, really good fun, especially because with Lorca there are so many interpretations of his ballads that you can really learn things about the way you think and about the way you like to think critically about literature. So it was really enjoyable. In terms of a general recap of the term academically, in week 0, so in the week before official term starts, there was a lot of revision going on for collections, which happened at the end of week 0. So I had a literature collection for Spanish and a language collection for French. They both went pretty well. The French one went really, really well actually, and the Spanish one a bit less. I think I really struggled with writing 2 essays and a commentary in 3 hours. It was very tricky. Then as we got into the term, I realised that actually I felt a lot more comfortable with the work than in Michaelmas term. It's almost like I knew what to expect, and it just was a lot less stressful. But when we got to 4th week, which is a week in which I had 2 essays due, so I'd previously had an essay and a commentary due at the same time. That wasn't really a problem, because a commentary, you read the passage and you write your essay essentially. With an essay though, you have to do lots of extra reading. You need to know the play or the book or the novel off by heart, and then you need to write your essay. And there's a significantly more complex process to it, in my opinion. Other people find essays easier to write. But anyway, in week 4 I had 2 essays to write, and you can have a look at my video on week 4, in which I would say Oxford nearly broke me. For the first time ever, I worked sort of past 9 o'clock, and in fact I worked all the way till 1 o'clock to get my Spanish essay finished. But I enjoyed writing that essay, and I really enjoyed just working until I'd produced something that I was proud of. And that can be related to week 8 as well, which I'll talk about in a minute. As we went through weeks 3, 4, 5, it was still the same nice routine. 6 as well, just getting the work done. I think I did much better this term at staying on top of the little tasks. And when I say little, I mean the slightly less time-consuming ones, but that still, when you add them up, take up a lot of time. So for instance, the translations I had to do, or the grammar exercises, or the oral presentations I had to prepare, I did all of those well in advance, which meant that when it came to the classes, I didn't have to sort of rush these things the night before, because I had been writing an essay, for instance. So I just found that in Michaelmas term I was really finding it hard to balance writing a nice long essay while also getting all the little tasks like vocab and grammar exercises, as I said, oh my word, Holly, all finished. So generally a lot better this term. Week 7 we had Torpid, and you can watch my recap video from last week. I'll put a link somewhere. So for that, I did all my work for week 7 and 8 in terms of little tasks in week 6, so that I didn't have to worry about those at all for the last 2 weeks of term, which was so satisfying. But the essays due in week 8 were pretty tough. Again, I stayed up late writing, this time a French essay, but again, I really enjoyed doing it. And in fact, my Spanish essay that I wrote in week 8 was the best one I've ever done, and my tutor really enjoyed reading it apparently, so I'm very pleased with that, especially seeing as I came from not doing an essay subject at A-level at all. French and Spanish don't really count. We weren't writing in English, and the essays we wrote in Spanish were ridiculously short, sort of 300 words, whereas now I'm expected to write 2,000 words in English, trying to sound intelligent about some things that sometimes I'm not entirely sure I understand, but you need to weave that in to your writing, and try to sound sincere as you're doing it. Oof, walking up a hill. So yeah, all in all, a much more satisfying term, I think. I really felt like I knew what I was doing and really got on well with the work I had to do. So yeah. So now for a quick roundup of the rowing. If you want more details, I recommend you watch the Torpids video that I've already mentioned. That's the big rowing competition in Hillary term. It was in 7th week, and Worcester College Boat Club did really well. Overall for this term, I really felt like I slotted in more into the boat club, into the team. We had a really nice atmosphere going, really cheerful, really encouraging, and just generally a very nice society to be part of. It's a shame that it took some time away from Ultimate Frisbee. In fact, I think I only played about 3 times this term, but that's also down to some classes clashing with practice. But yeah, it was really good fun. My erg scores improved dramatically, and I can't wait for Summer 8's next term. I think it's going to be really good fun. So yeah, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's good to be back home and giving myself time to recharge before we go again in the summer. If you like this video, please like it down below, and also comment if you have any questions, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. So thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned.